How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the second podcast by KYF. We're joined today with Ben.
Yo.
Orla.
Hi.
Papa John. Papa
Hello.
John's Pizza. And myself, my name is Bill. Pardon the stammer there. Today we will be talking about soundtracks and atmosphere and how soundtracks affect a film and whether or not they are vital to a film and which films they suit. So starting us off, we have Ben. So Ben, I'll start you off with a question. What's your favourite use of a soundtrack in a film? And what do you feel it added to it?
Oh man. Jaws. Jaws is the perfect example. Because, Jaws is just the whole kind of building cello, like do 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 do. What it kind of did was just really, really get your heart racing. You just absolutely did not want to watch the rest of the film after hearing it. It just kind of terrified me a little bit when I was younger, and I remember just hearing that soundtrack and I'd instantly nearly start crying, clinging on to my mother, and it was just an absolutely horrifying experience. But it really, without that, it would have just been a shark floating through water for 2.5 minutes. You know what I mean? It would have seemed far less kind of hard hitting.
It's really creepy.
I think Jaws is like the movie that everybody at some stage or another who's seen it, and they're in the ocean at one point, they've always thought, imagine I have anyway.
Dude.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really iconic sound, but it's not even soundtrack or song. It's just
No, it's just-
abstracted.
it's Jaws.
It's like whenever something creepy's about to happen, even if it's not, sometimes people just go da da da
Yeah.
da. Even if it's not Jaws, something's gonna happen. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, sure. It's just 2 notes, but it's just so terrifying that it just worked so well with the tone of the film. And just
Apparently, he played it to some agent when he was pitching the film and the soundtrack to it originally. And the guy was like, "No way."
That's
like what was it, The Wizard of Oz? They weren't gonna put Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't gonna have that song, and now it's the biggest song,
Ridiculous,
one of the
man.
biggest songs from the film. No, some people think they know it all, but they don't.
Yeah, I love those stories. Right, so thank you, Ben. Orla, moving on to you. What's your favourite soundtrack in a film, and what do you think it added to the film itself?
Well, I was trying to think of it, and I really couldn't think of one. But then, Deliverance, something that comes to mind.
Wow.
It's a film, and they go down a river, and they're attacked by these country hillbilly people. But it has this guy playing the banjo, and it's just really creepy the way he plays it, and I don't know, it just really suits the film.
Yeah, it brings a sense of foreboding into it.
Haven't
it's really
actually-
creepy.
Is it a horror film?
Not really.
No, it's kind of a thriller.
A very slow burning kind of thriller as well.
Yeah, it starts off slowly, but you can tell straight away from the beginning that something creepy is going to happen because this guy playing the banjo, he's just weird. You just don't get the sense of it's not right there. So I think it sets off the mood.
Interesting. Thank you, Orla. Right, I suppose I'll go to John before I give my input. So, John, what do you think?
The senior man of the group.
Yeah.
Senior old fella. Yeah, probably something with Alfred Hitchcock. He used to work a lot with the composer Bernard Herrmann, and it added all of his films. They're iconic for the atmospheric music and the build up and the strings.
I assume the one you're going to mention is Psycho then, right?
Yeah, well, I guess Psycho's the really well known one, but also, have you ever seen Rear Window?
Yeah, I'm studying that for my
But the amazing thing with that is, one of his neighbours is actually Bernard Herrmann, the composer.
Yeah.
And throughout the film, you can see him working on the actual score for the film.
Yeah.
And by the end, he's composed it fully, and then it's used within the film as well.
That's really, really cool.
So integrating it like that is amazing, I think.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There Will Be Blood has a lot of
I've never seen There Will Be Blood.
sound. It's music, but it's more sound just to build tension, and they
Yeah.
kind of play on the train tracks and things like that. It's brilliant.
Or another film people always, I think back to the soundtrack is The Breakfast Club. That has a really good soundtrack, and when you hear the song, you're just you think of that movie. I don't know if it's the movie that makes the song great or the song that makes the movie great. I think it just depends.
It's an age-old argument, it really is.
Yeah.
Because think about it, without Jaws, the soundtrack would have just been 2 notes. But without the 2 notes, Jaws would have been a far lesser movie. It's just one can't really survive without the other.
Yeah, but then probably Breakfast Club, but Forrest Gump, he lives through these eras where all this music's written.
Oh,
and the soundtrack is unbelievable.
Yeah, Fortunate Son.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even like in horror films. Like what makes a horror film scary is the music,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
violins, and the amount of like different instruments they use.
What's your favourite horror film in terms of not just soundtrack but sound?
Of sound. I wouldn't know. I know The Conjuring has good sound.
Yeah, I was about like if I were to pick one, I'd say any Blumhouse film, like same production company.
Do you know the way like the minute anything bad's happening, it kind of like is almost like the house is kind of compressing in on itself.
It
Yeah.
really is like every bit of sound drops,
Yeah.
and it's so flat that it feels like it's on you,
Mm.
and then something happens and the
The
sound
eerie
pops back.
feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
really
Does
is.
it just use like strings to kind of build up tension?
No,
Or-
the sound just completely drops, and then
Like they could
maybe
have
there's
sound
a
and then
Dark
Yeah.
Skies. Have you seen Dark Skies?
Haven't-
Anyone?
No.
haven't.
It's an alien film, but it's one of the few alien films that gear toward horror and make it perfect. And it uses next to no music, but there's a lot of low frequencies and high frequencies and mid frequencies. And what's weird is that they combine together to give something far more like moving than a soundtrack, because it just you feel it inside you. The frequencies, and they're so like tension building and constant and droning that like. You feel like you're going mad watching a scene because it's gone for so long. You're just like, when is it going to pop up? Like, it's
Yeah.
really excellent.
I think for me, and if I was to answer this question, I think my favourite use of soundtrack in film would be, and I think he's absolutely just like, I think this has kind of made his films what they are, is Quentin Tarantino. Because I think his use of music in film is just makes the film, like especially Django or Reservoir Dogs, you know, the torture scene.
The soundtrack, with
pairs up these
Stuck in
really-
the Middle, Steelers
Stuck
Wheel.
in, yeah, definitely. That's
Mhm.
just it. Just adds. It just shows it all in a whole new light. And
The soundtrack for Django was also excellent.
yeah, I
Other
think
days
soundtrack in TV shows. Like I was just saying this there. I started watching True Detective there, and the soundtrack to that is awesome. I know Sons of Anarchy, which I liked very much. The soundtrack to that was awesome.
Yeah,
Y50.
They made they made a pretty much a massively popular album just out of the soundtrack.
Yeah,
of,
and
Sons
that's
of
what
Anarchy.
happens. That's what
Your
happens.
Hawaii 5 has one of the most iconic drum
Yeah.
rolls, like like that.
Yeah.
at
You
the
know,
start,
like
yeah.
The Simpsons, I think, is one that's overlooked for like really high quality
Oh,
instrumental.
yeah. Yeah.
Because they have the access to such a high quality orchestra. I know they
Yeah.
used to anyways, but and they parody so many good films. They draw on those like
Yeah.
instrumentals that
Yeah.
work around different
Yeah.
scenes.
Really excellent, yeah.
In some of the best episodes, you know.
I think as well, though, as you were saying, it gets overlooked. The fact that people have heard it so many times, you know, that
Yeah,
can
the Simpsons
yeah.
thing.
happen quite a bit.
Yeah, but think about watching The Simpsons, and tomorrow a new episode had a completely different soundtrack. You'd be like, I hate this. Like,
You
Yeah.
would,
Like
yeah.
the Fairly Odd Parents, they changed their soundtrack.
did they?
Yeah,
That sounds terrible.
it was. It was horrific. Or they changed the intro and the soundtrack. It was so bad.
But
So bad. Everyone's crying over it.
Or in the first Star Trek, the original Star
Yeah,
Trek series, they used that
yeah.
instrument, was it?
Yeah, the it's like the one you
it's
hold over the
electronic.
box. Yeah.
I
Forget what it's called.
Like, so because it was really appropriate to that kind of era, they thought like to use a very futuristic instrument.
even Predator, you know, or Alien, you know the way an Alien now, Alien, the way the music, it just is completely
Oh.
silent. They go that,
So
and
great.
then in Predator as well, you know the drums they use.
Yeah,
Like-
and what I'll say about like in terms of alien stuff,
Yeah.
an absence of sound is just as effective as sound sometimes. when
Well,
you
I think
need
it's
it,
good
yeah.
because the whole motto is in space, no one can
Yeah.
hear you scream, and I think that's the whole point. It's just silent. And I think in some cases, silence can be a lot actually more tense and scarier than music. Like I know music will provoke a jump scare probably more than silence at times, but at the same time, I think psychologically
Yeah,
it's a lot scarier.
because it makes it like soundtracks make you feel involved in the film, but when there's dead silence, there's a sense of like abandonment where you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm helpless in this scene.
Well, soundtracks, like most of the music I listen to is probably from soundtracks. Like
Yeah,
you know, I just they're a great way of finding good music. And
Yeah, you know American Horror Story? I used to listen to the intro to
really.
that song.
Yeah,
like,
it's a really good
when
song.
when I first heard it, I was like, it's kind of weird. But then you really get
It
into
is
the
really cool.
Yeah, it's really
It's
good.
the whole kind of ethos of the show, and it just
Yeah.
kind of draws you in.
I
Yeah.
think we're like overlooking probably one of the best soundtracks for a TV show, which is Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
Soundtrack to
yeah.
Game of
I
Thrones
don't watch
is
Game of Thrones.
amazing.
I've
know
heard
what's-
of the soundtrack,
think-
but I don't really
yeah,
watch it.
I think I'm one of the
either.
4 people who doesn't watch it like, in the
No,
world.
I don't watch it. My dad watches it though.
Yeah.
So I've
No,
heard
but the
it.
soundtrack. I mean, it goes on for about 6 minutes. It's a really long intro, but like
Yeah, I know the soundtrack.
to the point where you probably end up
Like, another
skipping.
big one I think is like Star Wars.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course. One of the most
yeah,
iconic
yeah.
soundtracks in the world.
When
yeah.
they were making it originally, they wanted to bring in orchestral music because it really was a juxtaposition against the futuristic kind of side of things, rather than using what Star Trek did and use like the electronic instruments in there.
Well, Star Wars, don't they call it a space western?
Yeah,
They have called it that
could be
before.
considered that, like.
Oh yeah, and all the westerns with like Clint Eastwood, you know,
Yeah.
the really iconic.
Oh yeah, Fistful of
Good
Dollars and all.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Jeez, where's Clint Eastwood now?
He's directing a film about the Hudson pilot called Sully.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
out.
that's out now.
Is it out?
Yeah, it's been out. Yeah.
He directed a film about the Hudson pilot, yeah.
Jeez, he must be old enough now.
He's 78, 79.
Or if you even think about it, you know, Harry Potter and how at the start, when the films were way more playful, they was like but then by the end they slowed it down and made it really creepy, and I thought that was really cool. Like, it was the same soundtrack, but just by slowing it down, completely changed the tone. You knew it was way more scary and creepy than the first few films.
Really excellent,
Yeah, I thought that was really like.
Goes back around to atmosphere, like
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's built
Like,
the atmosphere.
tempo of music completely dictates the feeling of it. Like, you know, like Jaws was so slow and building, but then there are films with, you know,
the strings in Psycho where the violins
yeah.
get to a really
Or Deliverance, when you didn't know what was going to happen, but as soon as you heard those banjo things, you just knew it was creepy. Like, it wasn't.
exactly,
It completely sets it.
Like, music is so perfect for evoking certain emotions to do the scene. Like, if you see a scene of a street, it could look perfectly fine as it pans down. But if you have a really kind of fast, punky soundtrack, it could give you an excited feeling, like, yeah, something cool's about to happen. But if it's a dark, foreboding, low, like trumpety kind of sound, that could make you feel like this is going to be a terrifying scene. You know?
Yeah, and it can completely make the film as well,
Oh,
or
of
break
course.
it. You know, like you know, Amelie.
No.
It's like a French film, and it's won lots of kind of like awards and here and there.
Who directed
Less mainstream kind of thing. I can't remember who directed it, but Jan Tiersen did the soundtrack for it, and it's a really iconic soundtrack and well known on its own as well. But the film was originally screened without the soundtrack, and it got really bad reviews.
Really?
Yeah, but then when they added the soundtrack in, it lifted everything.
Well, then, when saying that, No Country for Old Men, I think that's a very quiet movie, and it still works. I think the only music in No Country for Old Men, I could be wrong here, but is the mariachi band when he wakes up.
Yeah.
I think that's the only music, and I like that can work too. It is like compared to the other Coen Brother movies, you know.
You
Like,
can some films it suits having no, like,
Yeah.
you know, soap operas, like just watching TV programs, they don't have soundtracks because it's supposed to be real life.
But that
And it
sometimes
suits
has something
that.
on the radio.
But they'd have it, or they in a pub or something, but they wouldn't have
But
soundtrack
then again,
soundtracks.
think, what would EastEnders be without the opening?
Yeah.
Like
Coronation Street hasn't changed in 50 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the Coronation Street one?
I don't know. Someone like falling down the stairs, or is that one you're
No,
talking
that's
about?
EastEnders. You're thinking of the
Soundtracks, dude.
Fat Man joke. What was it? Your mom was so fat that her walking down the stairs sounds like the start of EastEnders starting.
No, but Zorro, like all those classics, you know Zorro. Yeah, his soundtrack.
Sure, all the
really good.
John Wayne westerns and the spaghetti westerns, like the Clint Eastwood ones.
Yeah.
They all have such iconic soundtracks. I mean, like every
Ennio
John Wayne film.
Morricone, that's the guy's name.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
in his 90s now and he's still.
Yeah.
He did the Hateful Eight soundtrack. He got an
Yeah.
Oscar for that, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's a really good soundtrack.
And then it's obvious to
Great
say,
eerie.
like, any musical, their soundtrack is vital.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Like
Frozen without the soundtrack.
Yeah.
is
Now,
just,
doesn't that make it like the soundtrack to that? I've
Yeah.
never seen it now.
what?
Frozen.
Well, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was a musical. It's a Disney
It was-
one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Disney do like it's pretty much a half musical, like
All
most
the
of
Disney
It's all-
ones are really.
they're
like,
all musicals,
like
basically.
a big key part of them is like the
Music,
Yeah.
because
songs
it's what
like
appeals to
Aladdin
kids.
or-
Yeah.
Another one that Robin Williams was singing. You ain't never had a friend like me.
No, I don't know that one.
It's the
Should,
genie in
do you
Aladdin.
know what was good?
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
The yeah, right. You know, actually, on that note, we're actually gonna have to wrap it up now. So, final thoughts. We'll just go around. Ben,
On the podcast.
yeah, final thoughts on soundtracks. Really quick.
In my opinion, they're vital.
Okay, Orla, your opinion?
They definitely changed the movie.
I completely agree with two of them. I find that they make the movie what it is, and they give it a little something extra. John?
I think for you guys as filmmakers, it's really important to think when it's important not to have sound in, or important to have sound or else in the making.
Yeah.
To really focus on what do we want to hear here,
Okay.
and capturing the live sound when you're producing it.
Okay.
Funny.
Now, that's it for this week. Join in next week and we shall have another one. And we'll probably have new cast and old cast and all the same. So until then, signing off.